There are 3 words, just 3, that the moment they leave your mouth, the other person wins. In fact, the moment you say them, you've already lost the argument. And you've handed the other person exactly what they want. The phrase is, that's not true. Stay with me because what I'm about to show you is going to change the way you handle every attack, every ambush, every cheap shot for the rest of your life. Before we go any further, if you're new here, welcome. I'm Dan O'Connor, the Wizard of Words, and this channel is where we come to handle difficult people and high-pressure situations and moments that used to leave us speechless. So if you have not yet subscribed, ring that bell, because in this community, we are done being pushed around, and we are not willing to let one more person disappear because they don't know what the signals are. So picture this scene. Someone says a flat-out lie, and your whole nervous system lights up, and out comes, that's not true. Now you're arguing facts. You're explaining, you're justifying, and you feel like you're defending your honor, but what you are actually doing is taking the bait. You see, when someone attacks you, they're not really making a factual claim. They're making a power move, and they're testing whether they can destabilize you, whether they can throw you off center, whether they can make you react. And that's not true is the ultimate reaction. It says you are in power here. But the truth of what they said is almost irrelevant. What matters is the truth of what they're doing. What they're doing is fishing. They're waiting for you to take the bait. I want to talk to you about something that I call the dome. Imagine every attack, every smear, every piece of anonymous gossip that people throw at you. Imagine that it's fog. It's not true. It's manufactured confusion designed to do one thing: get in the way of the truth. And here's what the fog does. Fog doesn't have substance. It can't touch you. It can't actually harm you. But if you walk into it and you start swinging at it, arguing with it, trying to prove that the fog isn't really there, you disappear inside of it. And now the fog has won. The dome is the clarity that you stand in when you know who you are. Because here's the thing about anonymous authority. Here's the thing about smears and gossip and the whisper campaigns and all of those things that people use to try to tear you down. None of it can survive in the light. You know who you are. You know the truth. And for that matter, so do they. That's exactly why they're using fog instead of facts. When someone attacks you with fog, the most powerful thing that you can do is not walk into it. You stand in the light. You stand in the dome. And you ask the fog to identify itself. Because the fog can't do that. Fog disappears when you shine light on it. Now, let me give you the full picture, because that's not true is just one of the phrases that signals you have taken the bait. These are called danger phrases, all right? And when you hear yourself saying one of these, your alarm system should go off. Ding, ding, ding. Okay? Remember, when you're saying that's not true, you are arguing facts and you step into their frame. Let me explain. Sounds reasonable, but it's still defensive. You always do this. Shifts to attack mode and it escalates. You lose the high ground. That's not fair. Well, life isn't fair. And that's victim energy. That just confirms that they are dominant. I never said that. That invites a he said, she said, a spiral that you cannot win. Why would I do that? That's rhetorical. It sounds defensive, and it's not strong. You don't know what you're talking about. That attacks them. Now you are in the mud together with them. Every single one of these feels like a response. Every single one feels like you're standing up for yourself. And every single one is a trap. Because what you are really doing is handing them the wheel and asking them to drive. So what do you say instead? I'm going to give you a few options depending on the situation, because context matters. But first, here's the principle behind every power phrase. You are not defending anymore. You are not explaining. You are not taking the bait. You are asking the fog to identify itself. Okay? Got it? So if somebody attacks you with a smear, use this power phrase. Interesting. Where's that coming from? If somebody tries a public ambush, I appreciate you bringing that to me directly. Anonymous gossip. Who specifically said that? Unfair accusations. That doesn't match what I know to be true. A loaded question? That's a big assumption. What makes you say that? A chronic critic? I notice you bring this up often. What's really going on? Someone challenging your truth? You and I may see things differently. Notice what all of these have in common. Not one of them defends. Not one of them explains. Every single one puts the burden of proof back on the fog, and asks it to identify itself. That's the shift. That's the dome. You're standing in the light. Now, I want to give you one more tool because this is something that I don't hear anyone else talking about. There are certain words other people use that are specifically designed to create fog, to confuse you, to control you, to manipulate you and stand in the fog. These are fog words. When you hear them, I want you to recognize them for what they are, okay? Fog phrase number 1. Everybody knows. This is called anonymous authority. Nobody has to own it so that you can't challenge it. People are saying, same fog move. Multiple accusers, impossible to confront. I'm just being honest. Preemptive cover for what is really going to be cruelty. And they're using honesty as a weapon. No offense, but. This is a permission slip for them. They're about to offend you and they know it. You're too sensitive. That is gaslighting by way of characterization of your emotions. I never said that. That is fog on top of fog. That tries to rewrite history to destabilize you and your memory. Well, that's just how I am. Refusal to be accountable, presented as authenticity. You know what your problem is? Framing an attack as a favor and trying to control the narrative. When you hear these words, do not walk into that fog. Do not try to argue with an invisible accuser. Do not chase a rumor. Just stand in the dome and ask the fog to identify itself. Now, if this is resonating with you, I want you to know that I'm putting the finishing touches on a brand new course called Never Defend Yourself Again. And it goes so much deeper than we can cover in these simple videos on YouTube. But I'm talking about full scripts, full frameworks, audio so that you can actually drill so that when the moment comes, your mouth already knows what to do. And if that's not enough, I'm putting together a live tour so that we can practice these things together and with others who know where we're going, know where we are, support us in that journey, and people who are not letting one more person disappear just because they don't know what the signs are or what to do when they recognize them. If you want to get on the early access list, click the link below, all right? And here's what I'd like to leave you with. You are not obligated to defend yourself against fog. You know who you are. The people who love you know who you are. And the people who throw fog at you, they know who you are too. That's exactly why they need the fog. What we are not doing anymore is taking the bait. We are defending ourselves from cheap shots, anonymous smears, gossip, or anyone who would rather deal in fog by dealing with truth. What we are doing is standing, not just in our truth, but in truth, together. And we're asking the fog to identify itself. And when we do that, when we stand in the light, there's nothing that can hurt us. You know this. You've always known this. Now you have the words to back it up. And if this video helped you, subscribe right now. Share it with one person who might need this, because that's exactly what we're doing. We are forming a community, an alliance of people who are not willing to let one more person disappear just because they don't know what the signs are or what to do. We know. And this is exactly the kind of place that people like you and me belong. I'm Dan O'Connor, the Wizard of Words, and I will see you in the next one. Remember to subscribe to this channel, share it with people who need it, and if you'd like to be notified when our next group opens up, email me at dan@danocconnortraining.com.